So I've had the speech prepared for a little while. If I could, I'd like the full 6.5 minutes, if I could have it, and I will proceed right into it. Tell you a little bit about myself first. My name's Paul. I've been here at Sagetti for just about 3 years, almost 3 years now. I am an avid gamer. I enjoy my family. I am a resident here of Arizona for 14.5 years, and I really love Toastmasters, and I think that this is adding a lot of value, and I hope that we are all becoming excellent speakers, not just in this forum, but also as professionals. It really, really matters. And now I'll just get into my speech. I have had a reoccurring theme in all my speeches about inequality. I like staying there because there's just so much you can expand on that. There are so many subjects that you can talk about regarding inequality. Tonight's discussion on inequality will revolve around the concept of education, more specifically primary and secondary education. When you get done with this meeting, I'd like people to Google something when you get out of here. I'd like you to Google something called Massachusetts school laws from the 17th century. Would it surprise you to know that in this country, more specifically in this hemisphere, the whole concept of socialized education started from the premise of the Protestant belief of saving the souls of children from eternal damnation. I am not even kidding. Google the Old Deluder Act from 1647, Massachusetts school laws. They believed, as they were all farmers in Massachusetts in 1647, that if their children were not 100% literate, they could not read the Gospels, and that they would be damned to hell. And that the only way to educate them is to force people to pay 5 shillings to a school, and then to have a headmaster teach them and educate them so that they could read the Gospels and read the Bible. That was the first school in the Western Hemisphere. It was predicated on Protestantism. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. Now, I bet if you asked your teachers today, they wouldn't even know it. But it's there. Google it, find it. Ye Old Deluder Act. Deluder being Satan, deluding people to speak of the Gospels, to know to save your soul, to save their children, because their kids were all working as farmers. Fast forward to today. Education has changed so much in the 350 years since the Ye Old Deluder Act. But no changes happened so much as happened at the end of World War II. Prior to World War II, it was not uncommon for somebody to be in high school to age 20. If you stayed that long, if you didn't drop out. And a lot of kids dropped out. The kids who just couldn't do it, they just kept flunking them, kept holding them back. Wasn't working. They had a really low graduation rate. But after we won World War II, we came in, everybody was rah, 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 System of Bob, we got Truman, we had Eisenhower, we got to change education. We got to get this graduation rate up. We got to do something. We need a high rate now. We're at 85%, which is still really, really good. Not where you need to be, but still really, really good. A lot better than it was. What did they do? They started the most unequal thing possible. Something called tracking. What is tracking? Tracking is the concept of the atomic age, where they said it is essential in the United States for everyone to have a high school diploma. But some kids are not that smart, and some kids are super gifted. So let's track them. Let's put some kids over here in honors, some kids over here in gifted, some kids over here in average, and some kids over here in remedial. And they'll all graduate together at age 17 or 18, all of them, and these kids over here can do advanced placement calculus, and these kids over here don't even know algebra. But they all have the exact same high school diploma. That was great in 1955. In 1955, when we had jobs for these kids over here who couldn't do calculus, we had jobs for these kids over here who didn't become lawyers, we had jobs for these kids over here who couldn't do the things that these kids over here could do. Made sense in 1955, does not make sense today. So now what you have, and this is an inequality, rearing its ugly head again, a system of education that was predicated on a belief in the 50s and in the 40s where everyone had to graduate high school and all had to get out at exactly the same time. Some of them are going to go to college, some of them are going to go to trade school, and there's going to be jobs for everybody. That worked in the atomic age. It does not work in the information age. So now we have manifest inequality. And nobody's talking about this. Nobody is talking about it. It was reported about that in a movie called Waiting for Superman. There was a segment in Waiting for Superman with a young girl by the name of Jenny, whose parents did everything they could to get her in a charter school that had no tracking. No tracking. Because they knew that Jenny was not a gifted student. She was going to get left behind had she gone into the regular school systems. She'd be here at the remedial level, and she will graduate with a diploma that will not do her any good at all. We are graduating students. They can't get jobs. They're not passing classes in college. They can't get ahead. This is the information age, and we need to think about education differently because it's not working anymore. Tracking doesn't work. All tracking does is separate the kids at primary and secondary levels, quite often, for later in life, separating them in college, separating them for everything, for marriage, for everything they're doing for the rest of their lives. We have to find a way to get everybody over there in the information age, and we have to leave tracking behind. Thank you very much for your time.